Fresh air is pretty hard to come by in a lot of parts of China. Their smog and their pollution is way above the hazard levels that the World Health Organization will allow. So a lot of performance artists are getting together in China and trying to do some sort of artistic protests in their own way. One guy doing it, Beijing artist Liang Kegang, brought back a glass jar of clean air from Provence and ended up auctioning it before a group of other artists, and it went for $860. I think that's about 14 million yen. Wow, no, it's not really. I don't know the conversion. When interviewed about the auction, the artist said, "The air should be most valueless commodity we have, free to breathe for any vagrant or beggar. This is my way to question China's foul air and express my dissatisfaction." His work is actually part of a bigger protest in China. There's all kinds of this stuff going around. Some other protesters are wearing dust masks and laying on the ground and playing dead in front of an altar at the Temple of Heaven Park in Beijing. Some others held a mock funeral to protest the smog, so it's a really big deal there. And if you guys are super jealous of this jar, it's basically just a jam jar with a little flippy top. If you want your own air supply, you can get it online for $3 on an online Chinese bazaar, and you get your own canned air.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
First off, this is right out of Spaceballs.
I was
literally.
just gonna say that.
Perrier, Mel Brooks. We did a story on this on my show last week, and we showed the clip. But they are also charging. They have people that are literally going to mountains and getting air in these plastic bags and then bringing it back to the villages, because the villages then are in the smog.
Yep.
Because the smog is just trapped. And it looks like fog, what we would think of fog, but it is pure pollution and pure smog. I mean, this is really sick. It's hard to believe this is happening.
You know,
on
last
Earth.
year there was a fire. There was an actual fire in a building in Beijing, and no one could see it because the smog was so thick, you couldn't see the fire. And if you look at Beijing from Google Maps, you can't even see it. Tom Hank, who used to work for us and now he's moved on to another company up in San Francisco, he sent me a tweet that said that 30% of the pollution in the Bay Area is from China.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's coming across the Pacific Ocean. So the problem in China isn't contained in China. So, Jimmy, this may surprise you, but I'm Korean.
Oh.
It's a wholly separate country from China. I mean, it's like different. They're different
So it's
languages.
like water separate.
Yeah,
Like a suburb of Beijing?
Yeah.
yeah, it's like different languages and culture and history is totally different. Anyway,
Both good food.
yeah. So the air blows basically from west to east. So all the bad air from China goes over to Korea as well. And every now and then, certain times of the year, there's like this blanket smog across Korea as well, and that blows over to Japan, makes its way all the way over to San Francisco. So this is a global issue, and China is trying to grapple with it because they need to somehow find the balance between stalling economic development and this environmental catastrophe, because their people are not happy. I mean,
They can't breathe.
I read an article which I couldn't believe, but the life expectancy of a Shanghai traffic cop, who's the cop that directs traffic?
Traffic cop, yeah.
40 years.
What?
Because he gets hit by a bus?
Well,
No, that's if he's lucky. It's
Yeah,
just
right.
a slow
the air.
death of...
It's the air. Because they have massive respiratory problems and they die.
Well, and I have two friends actually, that were over there doing Peace Corps nonsense. And it was just so common for people to be spitting up, hacking just black sludge in the street. So that's just super common. It's totally fine.
Like, that's just like, that is mind-blowing,
It's
right?
real. I was in Cairo maybe 10 years ago, and Cairo is incredibly overpopulated and incredibly...
Cairo, Indiana? Or?
Cairo, Egypt.
Oh, all right.
And literally after a day out all day, I came back to my hotel room, and my tongue was gray. Just from breathing in. So this stuff is happening, and it's out there, and just because we don't see it here, but then it makes its ways to our shores.
So when you see Asians in America with the masks over there, it's because they're still afraid, right?
Probably,
they
yeah.
don't.
Yeah, so this is a cautionary tale because LA was heading down that exact same path in the 70s. Because I read articles about how in downtown LA they used to set up on street corners oxygen tanks and other things to help people with respiratory problems because the air was so bad here. But you know what cleaned it up? Regulation, the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act. And when government gets involved and they regulate and they make industry stop polluting the shit out of our environment, it actually works.
Yeah, but no one's going to stop China because we're all, wagging our fingers at China and saying, you're bad, you should stop doing this, you're hurting us. But we're the one that needs their stuff, everybody needs their stuff, and we don't want to stop that
That's the
supply.
thing. We're all going to buy iPhone 6s when
Yeah.
they come out,
Thank
right?
you.
I mean,
I'm not
that's
wagging
the
my fingers
truth.
at China. China's to
everyone
figure it out.
is.
I'm wagging my fingers at ourselves because there's a push by a certain segment of our population and our politicians who pretend that we can get rid of regulation and that'd be fine. Let them self-regulate. Duke Energy just spilled a shitload of pollutants into the groundwater in North Carolina, and they were ordered to clean it up, and they appealed, and the North Carolina's regulatory agency agreed with Duke Energy and said, no, they don't have to pay. And North Carolina's governor had worked for 28 years for Duke Energy, and of course he agrees Duke Energy shouldn't have to pay for that. They only polluted the groundwater. What's the big deal?
Is that legal? I mean, we know that he worked.
No, they're doing investigations to see if there's, quid pro quos. That's the only thing that you can't have is a quid pro quo. But they can't, they still do have it. That's why people donate to political campaigns. It's so they do have a quid pro quo. So people will do something for
all
them.
The people who think that we don't need regulation here, just go look at Beijing.
Yes.
That's what we're going to be. That's what we're going to be without regulation. We're going to be Beijing.